The following program is sponsored by Capitec.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Insider Essay, your guide to living better. Join us today as we open up to escape with Ligwala Gwala FM's Dumisani Similane getting out of the studio and into epic Mpumalanga. In Montague, a new generation of tourism mavericks offer organic farming, singing suppers, and pedal power as a breakaway from the norm. Miss Botswana 2021 Palesa Molefe invests her time enjoying the great outdoors in a fellow African country. Having tried everything from aircraft engineering to professional golf, Olivia finds his great escape to creative freedom in sculpture. And a staycation sees Durban comedian Felix Klope and his wife Tracy discover the ultimate getaway in their own hood. Dumisani Similane Madumane has become a much-loved voice to Mpumalanga for his work helping ordinary people to escape poverty while doing it with a boundless appetite for life.
Likapona siveli kwala FM luhlelo kusile Mzansi Reloaded ngithiche Madumane ngihambisana nensimbi ethinzabeni sibambisane ke nanomzaza lomuhla emlalelo likwala FM sivakashelwe la The Insider SA lapho kusabe sifundisa khona abantu sibatshele ukuthi ke kufanele balathi kangcono live labo nokuvakasha nje eMpumalanga.
Trying to break into radio was a testament to how Dumi sees both good and bad experiences as a learning curve that can only make you a better person tomorrow.
Lende radio kimi iqala I think about 2006 ngaqala ngifaka ke ema demo ami ngeta kuma auditions and unfortunately bangasibidi ngagive up ngifake basibide kule S11 I audition fortunate enough ngathi hey lo muntu lona solo uyavela aka give up awusinikete just a chance ya 2 hours banginiketa slot Saturday between 7 and 9 and eventually within a year I was promoted to present a breakfast show which I've been presenting for the past 15 years.
He's got schools and a center for the elderly and disabled built. But as a DJ, he knows the power of radio just being there for people.
Like when they would sing I radio kakhulu, it's like I radio iya entertainer, iya educator, iya informer at the same time iyakushape na umuntu nalokuthi nje you can change somebody's mood with the radio without talking mhlawumbe udlala ingoma le uplifter a spirit umuntu lo shonele I feel better.
One way is the entertainment that comes from Dumi and sports reporter Nsimbi Makwakwa being either side of a mic.
Kusebenza namadumani lengicabanga ukuthi kuhle ukuthi always motivates me. Yeah, it's part and parcel of the work. So I think I'm enjoying, I'm having fun working with Dumisani and Big, especially in the morning breakfast show. I was playing football professionally. And then lately, I don't know how did I fall into radio, but I guess it's the voice. That's why I end up working for Kwala Kwala.
Indulging his love of outdoor escapes that get his adrenaline pumping. This is the DJ's idea of life. And adventure guide Chris Sipakhamele was happy to oblige.
The stronger person sits at the back and the smarter person sits in the middle. Okay. So the strongest one within the team will be the one that is responsible for steering the boat. The smarter one within the team will be the one responsible for navigating the boat, telling the person at the back where to go and where not to go.
Where or where not to take a radio show is Becky Setlabena's job.
I met Madumane in 2004. I was doing the SABC education programs from Monday to Sunday. In 2006, I joined the station as a producer for his show because he was also promoted to do the breakfast show. He's no longer a friend to me, he's like now a brother to me because we do a lot of things together. In the station, we are the only people who knew each other better than everyone in the station.
Each in their own way has learned that success has no shortcuts.
PK, ngicabanga ukuthi we grew up together kule radio field. One of the few matured people SABC. His upbringing, like me, he was raised by a granny, very much humble.
A firm friendship with General Mnisi was also made through radio.
I met these two gentlemen, Madumane and PK, way back. I think it was in 2009. I was part of a music group called Ayako back in the days. We went there, young boys submitted demos to the station, they listened to them. There was a music committee that used to listen to music. So they used to play our music back in the days, and I think we grew to know each other from there. Through those channels, we grew to know each other on an almost personal level. As you see here now, we are able to go river rafting and get wet together.
General, it's one of our success stories as Ligwala FM SABC. We give people a chance. Igroup yakhe bekubantu labahlala beta estation. Uyakusebenzela ufunzile akaphakamisi still bantu yabathi nalokujabulela nje ukuthi ancedele abanye abantu labangana lutho ngoba yena soehambile le ndlela ngiyo lenza ngimthethe ngathi asite naye. My listeners have become family. They can attest because whether it's a traditional ceremony, la kubeka khona ingozi kumbe kunememo, we're always there with them.
Dumi goes to work each day to ensure that he will be the last one to experience poverty in his family.
Siphile si cishe kungilaba ngana lutho kakhulu. Ngicala ukurealize nyalo ukuthi umuntu ukhula hlupheka because ekhathi ngikhula bengakuboni ukuhlupheka khokho bekazama ngato tonke indlela, and unlike nyalo ngalendlela abantu benanga fortunate enough uNkulunkulu mina songiblessile ngetintonyana, but nami noma ngiblessed angibakhohlwa abantu labahluphekako njengoba ke nami ngilomunye umuntu lowahlupheka, but inhlupheko ngiyacabanga ukuthi it has shaped me to be a person that I am today, nalokuthi kungende ngaba streetwise and street smart angibhayisiseki lula impilo nje ngiyayathi nginabo sesi laba yi7 mfana kungemi kuphela ngihlala kagogo ngana malume ngana babe lokho kwangenda ukuthi ngikwathi nokuthi imele yabona because if ungithinza I had no one ukuthi mhlambe ngaya ko reporter or ngiye ko vutha ngibuye naye bekufuna ngitilwele ngitimele lokho kwangenda kakhulu ngagcina.
As we face no shortage of national challenges, what the voice of Mpumalanga is set on creating is a country where the spirit of Ubuntu is central to our constitution.
I-radio ngithanzela ukuthi it's a huge platform. If you use it wisely, you can change the impilo yalabantu labaphilako la eSouth Africa ukuthi bengcono njengoba senda emsakatweni Ligwala FM. We basically use radio to change people's lives.
Dumisani Similane knows life has no manual, but if your way forward helps others escape what's keeping them back, that's a start. Coming up from the northeast now to the southwest of SA to break free from the ordinary on a trip to Montague. If you're in need of escape, then the world's longest wine route from Ikapa to Gqeberha offers every variety. Then again, like travel journalist Jared Rattenberg, many find all they're after in one particular town, Montague in the Western Cape.
Short drive off the Route 62 and these impressive Cape Fold Mountains create a natural tunnel. I am at the entrance to the Langeberg town of Montague. Montague is indeed a hidden gem worth exploring, and some inspiring stories from the locals will help me understand that a bit better.
Some of the best yarns start at this 19th century classic, where tour guide Marshall van Sale gets new arrivals on their bikes and riding.
I moved from Cape Town to Montague because I wanted to escape the city life, and I needed to find something to do here, and it was just such a natural progression. I offer all sorts of town tours. I try to show people the magic of Montague through the history tours, art tours. I even have a ghost tour. For those who can't cycle, I also do walking tours. When you're on a bicycle, you feel free, you feel like you're flying, and that's the closest to freedom and flying that I get when I'm on a bicycle. And I love history, and to incorporate bicycles and cycling with the history of the town was just such an easy decision for me.
From bicycles painted by local artists to the proud local footbridge, a creative streak runs through the town's history.
Montague was established in 1851, and architects always say that Montague is the best example of what a mid-19th century town would have looked like. So you can expect to see Victorian, Georgian, Cape Dutch, British colonial style houses, and it's definitely the architecture that's the first thing that grabs people's attention. This is a Georgian home from 1886. It's named after King George, so just think of King George, very masculine. That's the square look with a bit of Victorian trimmings to finish it, so quite eclectic, a very typical Montague style. Throw it all together.
The nearest mall is 70 kilometers away, so you instinctively turn to this outdoor amphitheater for your entertainment.
Montague's natural landscape is just beautiful because when you come here, the whole town is surrounded by mountains. So wherever you are, there's a beautiful view. So people really come to experience nature. You're so close to it. You can go on beautiful hikes, mountain biking, and this is one of the best places in South Africa to come for rock climbing.
If not as old as the hills, then just as pretty is the collection of Cadillac Sedan DeVille, owned by local hotelier PJ Besson. He offered us a ride in his Pride and Joy, built in 1956.
From the moment we drove past the hotel and saw this car parked outside, I knew in an instant I want to go for a drive in it, and here we are. How lucky are we?
Jared, it's just a pleasure to have you on board, man. I moved to Montague in 1999 as a young man just working in a hotel. And I quickly came to realize that a place like this is all about the people that's living here. You know, you're greeted by name in the mornings when you walk down the street, and people actually mean that. They say, have a good day. They want you to have a good day. So I think that honesty and sincerity speaks to me. And then obviously that flows out to whoever's visiting the village. It's a friendly folk that's welcoming you, but also in combination with beautiful surrounding mountainside. The mountains are very close. And that coupled with the hospitality that's offered makes it quite an interesting place to come and stay in, and then also to come and visit.
With the price of petrol and a world moving to electric vehicles, these rides are becoming like time capsules of another age.
American Dream Cars, the concept basically was whenever we had a journalist or an operator visiting, we would take out the Cadillac and take them for a spin to show them Montague and Route 62. And then one of the Dutch operators said, but you know, I would love to offer this to my clients. And we said, okay, fine, let's do it. And we started just taking them out, wine tasting, olive tasting, showing them what the area has got on offer. And it's been a success ever since.
Drawing on vintage organic farming methods to create a new sustainable permaculture is an idea which Petrus Janssen set out to practice. Then he met and married Liana Muller, and together they're making a real name for their farm.
So the name Kochman Casey, Kochman refers to the mountain behind us. Kochman it refers to the Kochokwa clan of Khoi people. And Casey is the river that flows along our boundary. Our environment is very important to us, especially because we're living on the foot of the mountain, we're working on the foot of the mountain. So for us, sustainability and working with the environment is very important.
Many times when people come to Kochman and Casey and they inquire about the name, they also think that it's basically, I'm Kochman and Deanna's Casey.
And as for these goats, they are in fact Damara sheep.
As a farm, we don't only grow fruit and vegetables, but we also have animals. The animals complete the cycle because we're trying to farm naturally and organically. We've got many different crops, and some of the crops we're growing at the moment is broad beans. Broad beans are now at the end of the season, and we're pulling them out to make some space for more heirloom tomatoes.
Petrus have collected 38 different varieties of heirloom tomatoes. So those are tomatoes from all over the world. It's his absolute passion. Every year we're looking forward to the tomato harvest because you've never tasted anything as good as a ripe tomato from this farm.
The 900 or more lavender bushes dried out or distilled into products are also their version of rolling out the red carpet.
At Kochman & Casey, we have a guest house with 5 bedrooms, but then our most wonderful accommodation offering is Mountain View Cottage. Mountain View Cottage consists of 3 bedrooms. It has a beautiful lounge with comfortable couches, a lovely dining area. We specifically maximized views into the mountain because you're sitting literally right on the foot of the mountain.
Here, your wanderlust meets its match in a place where you just want to put your feet up and chill.
The cottage has everything you need. There's almost a rustic farmhouse feel, but still the luxury trappings and everything to make you feel comfortable, including a wood-fired hot tub right on the veranda.
While Jared soaked in natural bath aromas made from surrounding Langeberg fynbos, Liana was out picking sustainable quantities for her products.
Fine Botanicals started right here on the farm. I wanted to provide a soap to our guests that would not only nurture them and be healthy for them to use, but also healthy for our environment. I'm a researcher by profession, and I started dabbling in the world of formulation, and yes, I developed the liquid soap. And the guests loved it so much that I had to make more, and eventually after about 6 months, shops wanted to start stocking it, and from there I started making more and more products. In this journey of studying various plants for their medicinal properties, what I found that the plants that has the most medicinal properties are the pioneer plants. It's the plants that grow in disturbed soils, and it's the plants that they add to the soil, they bind soil, but they also provide a microclimate for other plants to re-establish and grow again. So the plants that heal us are also the plants that heal the environment.
As a bachelor, Petrus saw off floods and fires to establish a successful farm, and now his wife is taking it next level.
Welcome to the Fine Botanicals workshop. Did you sleep well last night?
Very peacefully, thank you, and woke up to the air full with the fragrance of fynbos, which brings us here. What are we doing today?
We are going to make our famous fynbos body scrub and soak. This morning I picked a number of plant species for you, and they all grow on the farm. I started with lavender, and then I also picked some geranium, pelargonium really, and it has the most wonderful rosy and comfort scent. I also picked renosterbos. This plant has been traditionally used as a stomach tonic. And then we also have helichrysum. This plant is highly antimicrobial and highly antibacterial, and this is specifically then also why we are using it as a relaxant in our body scrub. This is Tyronia. It's very good for yeast infections. And then here I have Collionema. It's also called confetti bush. And confetti bush is a plant used in many gardens nowadays, but it's also a wonderful plant for skincare.
The basis of this rub consists of Epsom salts mixed together with sea salt, and then Liana's signature blend of essential oils.
All the drawings on the bottles I made myself. This is an olive leaf. This one I actually drew long before Fane was established. I drew it specifically for our olive oil bottles. As I was drawing it, the message I received was, this is hope. It's hope for a new beginning.
What pioneer plants are to the local ecosystem, resident mavericks of the tourism industry are to the sustainable life of the town. Local businesses support one another to make Montague a powerhouse little economy which punches way above its weight. And restaurateur Richard Vilas is proud of their achievements.
The destination is made up of a couple of things. One is we're a winery. Number two, we have an area that overlooks what I call the Field of Dreams, and that's your daytime use. And at night I have created this fire kitchen, which is highly colored with multiple colors. A lot of antiques. I've got a bar in here that was made in 1915 in Paris. It's really important today to have an open interface between customers, chefs and waiters, and people can see really the production taking place at the same time. What I really try to do is create a destination. Today, eating, entertaining, And that type of joy that people look for is all about lifestyle. So I'm trying to create a lifestyle experience where people will spend time here, not just coming for a meal and leaving.
This experience combines the charm of a heritage farmstead with global inspiration in design, food, and entertainment that combines the best of New York, Paris, and of course, Montague's finest.
So I've chosen people here that are singers. The reason for that is that when I came here, people were saying, please don't take my staff from the other restaurants and that. And I wanted to have a different spin on what I was doing. I wanted to have a little bit more of a social integration into the community. I didn't look for experience. I looked for people who had voices.
The crew and I, we do 3 solos and a group song. We all sing for the love of it and the passion for music, but for the experience that the guests have when they come to visit Blue Vines.
The broader harmony is how local farms, hotels, wineries, pub stalls, and tour guides are all singing from the same hymn sheet.
When people travel and they arrive in these beautiful historic towns, there is sometimes a bit of a gap between the way the world's moving to where the town is. And I have great faith in small towns, in the future of this country. Your new future concepts are going to come from here. Your new businesses are going to come from small towns.
There is opportunity everywhere if you care to look, and it drives through the middle of this Karoo success story every day.
Thanks for joining me as I've explored Montague, and I hope that you've also been reminded that in South Africa, sometimes the biggest adventures are to be had in the smallest of towns.
To escape the conventional to a fantastic new take on our country, get on the R62 and drive. Just ahead, from a start in HR, Felix Klope discovers comedy is the wind beneath his wings and ticket to career freedom.
Sponsored by Capitec.
Joining the anchor of Gagasi FM's The Uprising for a weekend escape in his own hood, we met a man who's found the freedom to fly through his audience, the people, places, and life he comes from.
Hi there, my name is Felix, funny guy extraordinaire. I'm a radio man, I'm a stand-up comedian, and this is my turf. Welcome to the kingdom of the Zulu, and this is South Africa's playground. This is my lovely wife, her name is Tracy, and together with the Hlophes, welcome to the Octavia. My given name is Felix Klope. I'm Andile also, which is my Zulu name. I come from Umlazi, I grew up in Umlazi. I'm a Durban thoroughbred. My family came from Swaziland originally, but I consider myself Zulu. I was brought up Zulu, but I'm of Swazi origin. I came from a very big family, and dinner time, if you wanted for someone to listen to your story, it had to be the most interesting, had to be the funniest. So I didn't know that there was training ground for what I was to become later.
A popular MC, Felix got into stand-up and radio from there. He always had this way with people.
I was in HR and I was working for a personnel company. I was taking care of the region. I was basically just doing incentives for performance. And yeah, that's the guy I was. I was happy with trappings of my desk, and for me that worked until I was thrown into the deep end. And that is where I found my feet and rhythm, in comedy, in public speaking, in MCing. And that's how Felix was born.
And then the sun came into his life.
We met at a picnic in Pietermaritzburg at the Botanical Gardens. It was a Zakes Banduni concert. There was a friend of ours, and he seated us next to Felix at his table. Since then, we've been inseparable. He is an amazing father. His kids, all of them, adore him. He is a wonderful husband. He's very loving, very romantic.
Being a father changed me a lot. It gave me purpose. I understood that I no longer now lived for myself. There are other people that depend on me. It gave me a lot of purpose. I understood that I needed to change my ways and focus and make sure that I provide an environment where my kids can live to their fullest potential.
What Felix is to his family and audience, hotelier Dalo Nalo wants to be to his community.
Octavia Hotel is a hotel built in Inanda. Reason being, my mother's name was Octavia. She's late now. So when I came back to build this establishment here, it was an honor of her, and also sort of finding and reconnecting with her roots. It's a beautiful establishment sitting on top of the hills of Inanda, overlooking Inanda Dam. It was important for us to build this hotel in a rural establishment. One, to give pride to the locals. So this is also allowing kids in the neighborhood to be able to walk into a nice establishment and tell their friends that I'm from this neighborhood and I'm proud of being from this area.
Years ago, one local boy was looking up at aeroplanes and thinking, one day, Felix, one day. As Tracy tells her husband, you are a lion, and it's his courage which turns interest into action.
I've always been fascinated with flight and pilots, and I thought, hey, why not pursue it? Because I believe I've got the knack for it, I enjoy it, and I'm curious. And I always watch these programs on TV and also on YouTube. And my wife gave me the encouragement to say, go for it. And I did. And when I started it, I realized, actually, this dream is within grasp. And yeah, I never looked back. Everything is secured. This is my aeroplane. We call it the ETO. Otherwise, it's Zulu Sierra Echo Tango Oscar. It's a Cessna 172. It's a very old aeroplane. For my wife, this is the first time here. So basically, this is what we do.
It's something that he's been mentioning as a dream of his since he's a kid for a couple of years now. Honestly, it's very exciting. I have no problems with it at all. I support him 100% on this, and I'm very happy for him.
It takes balance, skill, and reading the signs to hold an audience. So too with flight.
What it takes to be a good pilot is one, to be attentive, to listen, to dedicate yourself, attention to detail, and make sure that you never, ever pass on an opportunity to learn. You learn, relearn, and then you learn again. And once you grasp it, you then learn again. So you need to devote yourself completely.
What keeps this high flyer's feet on the ground is the woman who chose him to be her man.
Spending time together is very important because that's where we get to really talk about life and our plans for the future and just to spend quality time together.
Your family deserves a certain level of comfort, and that comfort you need to work for. And when you have a special talent, people demand it, and you never have any downtime, which is why it's always like a honeymoon when I'm back home, because now I'm home, I get to be with my kids and create memories. We decided we're gonna keep the spark going, so we decided every Thursday we'll have a dress-up dinner, where we just dress up and go find a restaurant. Wherever the thing lands, we go there, and we enjoy it, and we dress up for it.
I always love trying new dishes, new restaurants, and expanding my palate. That's why I enjoy seafood and Mexican food.
Having both owned restaurants, they're now planning a new one, so every meal is research.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Octavia. My name is Chef Kawe Shabalala. I'm the executive chef of the hotel. The first course is herb-crusted salad. That's got the red pepper espuma. For the second course, you're gonna be having seafood risotto, Demar. Beautiful done. Enjoy your night, guys. Bon appetit.
To complement this love of food, the couple are launching a new brand of gin. Life is good.
My vision is where I create a financial secure future where I don't need to be physically out there to secure the future for my kids. So I'm going to be able to be at home and also ensure that my family is financially secure.
And I think that's the direction that we're heading.
To Felix Klope, loving what you do is the ultimate escape, and nothing's gonna hold him back. Right after this, actress, writer, and Miss Botswana Palesa Molefe unlocks the storyteller within by traveling her continent. Proud to hike and show off the great escapes of her home nation. When Miss Botswana 2021 Palesa Molefe recently needed a place for quiet reflection on a whirlwind year, she chose to explore her sister country.
A friend of mine was like, "You're gonna be our next Miss Botswana, enter." And I asked her, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Just enter Miss Botswana. You are going to be Miss Botswana." And then I entered Miss Botswana. Throughout the journey, I started finding where I fit in and how I want to do it. That's when the momentum started. And then I started loving things. I started saying, okay, this is my advocacy, mental health. I could have a voice. I could be an ambassador. I could inspire a lot of people. And for me, that was like crazy. But it touched me. And I think I'm grateful for her to kind of have given me that push and lead me in the right direction and say, give it a shot. And then through that is when I found my footing and I became Miss Botswana.
Being an actress, writer, and producer raised by a single mother from a rural village makes Palesa a queen for all her people.
It was surreal. My mother was shaking. I remember this like it was yesterday because this was a moment that we've been working so hard for. The time preparing to be Miss Botswana takes a lot, and when you finally get it, you're just so thankful, and I've been so thankful ever since.
Flying Botswana's flag at Miss World in Puerto Rico was thrilling. Getting down to work in her communities, even better.
As Miss Botswana, my advocacy was mental health. I've managed to travel to different places of Botswana, speaking to young children from nursery to primary to even secondary, just to give them a word of advice. We all have different life stories and we never know what the next person is going through. Just a little bit of kindness goes a long way. You don't know if it's the next thing you say that will be a person's last trigger. So be mindful of what you say to people. Kindness is a long thing. I know a conversation won't change everything, but an interaction is important. People might not always remember your name. People won't always remember your face, but they will remember how you make them feel.
Compelling storytelling is based on those human truths, and Miss Molefe is now back to doing just that.
Because I had to be a service to my country and literally put my life aside for about a year, I was not able to do the acting and the directing as much as I wanted to. But now that we're done, I'm full back in it 100%. So I'm super excited to go back into that and do the directing. And I'm also trying to dabble it with now becoming a philanthropist, which is fantastic. Acting and directing has always been a big part of my life. I think that's how it's really connected to pageantry. It's the same creative industry, but I love portraying stories of different people and being able to come out of myself and embodying someone else's character and trying to understand the story and the future and the past of that person, really.
Palesa's host, Kate Brink, has quite a story, from sailing the Atlantic to the Antarctic to here.
Southern Yurts accommodation is situated on Porcupine Hills Guest Farm, which is home to the Diep Kloof Private Nature Reserve. The Private Nature Reserve consists of 200 hectares of Renosterveld Conservancy and is primarily made up of the Renosterveld biome. However, there is also some fynbos biome on the higher altitudes of the land. The conservancy on the farm is actually for the Renosterveld, and this is the Renosterbos, which is the main member of the Renosterveld. And it is only found here in the Western Cape in the Overberg region.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a really important biome. And with only 7% left conserved in the Western Cape, it means that this land is a really important part of the future of preserving the Renosterveld.
That's amazing.
Kate has her honours in oceanography, but like her guest, all the outdoors are her happy place.
My life for the past year has been very public and very loud. One thing that I enjoyed even before becoming Miss Botswana is nature. Nature has this way of restoring you and rejuvenating and refreshing you, your mind, your soul, your body as a whole. And so just being able to take that time out and finding myself in beautiful places like these river cabins, it means everything to me. Meeting Kate, who actually grew up in Botswana, funny enough, so I feel like I'm home away from home, and I love it so much.
This conversationist has become quite a cook too.
Here we are at the farm dam.
Oh, wow.
And we've set up a little refreshment for you to enjoy.
Thank you. This is exactly what I say, nature's best kept secret. I love it.
Some picnic this was.
It's just so great to be able to just escape out to these spots.
Yeah.
And just be able to relax, hear the wind in the reeds, and be very present.
Yeah, honestly,
with the landscape.
This is the best way to spend a day. This is the perfect day. Great food, great company, and the perfect scenery.
Kate has worked on supply ships to Antarctica and picked fruit in New Zealand, all to buy herself this privilege.
One of the great joys of being in this conservancy is that we have this wide range of bird life. And so bird watching is one of our favorite activities to recommend to guests. So celebrating and protecting the bird life that lives here in the conservancy is really important to ensuring that this reserve has a story that we can bring into the future. And you know, it's important that the guest accommodation, the people that come and visit the reserve, contribute to this project, the project of ensuring that the land and the flora and fauna in it are looked after.
That's amazing. It's so beautiful. I love being active and I love traveling. I believe there's one way of being educated, and that's through books. But being educated through life and through experience is a completely different story, and I love that for myself. I'm able to open my mind, I'm able to understand different cultures and different people. Your mind opens up and your heart opens up, and it's very important for me. So that is exactly why I love traveling.
If her thirst for meeting fellow Africans and discovering her continent have taught Palesa anything, it is to be inspired without the need to compare.
These are the moments that mean a lot to me, when I can just sit in the middle of nowhere, get a break, just see Mother Nature in her best form, and just stop. Away from the noise, somewhere in a valley with great company and just fresh air. It's amazing.
As is this forward-looking getaway and conservancy in one, built by Kate and Tobin Davenport.
So Palesa, what was your favorite part about today?
I absolutely loved the sundowner part. I think after a very busy day, the best part is just seeing a beautiful scenery and being able just to sit there, you know, and enjoy the company of great folks, you know, Tobin and yourself. And I just think it's moments like that that you kind of come down to everything and you get a great appreciation of nature and of everything, and really God's gift to us. And I think it's super important.
For an explorer and self-made woman whose favorite subject is DIY hacks, an outdoor, off-grid, after-hours bath was the bomb.
I couldn't think of a better way to wrap up a beautiful, scenic, adventurous day than here in a hot tub. Perfect way to wrap up a little mini getaway.
Palesa Molefe came south looking to dial down the heat of a big year to a calm, quiet simmer, and found that perfect escape. Coming up, how creative Marco Olivia found a field of expression as wide, free, and epic as his imagination.
Sponsored by Capitec.
The world could have come to know Marco Olivia as an aircraft engineer, a pro golfer, or furniture designer. A natural in each of those fields, somehow they never sparked the passion that opening his bronze casting foundry did. This was the creative escape he'd searched for from day one.
I was schooled in Pretoria Boys High and very early realized that, doing academic work wasn't for me. I've been dyslexic pretty much my entire life, and as a result of it, I've had to go into the technical field because I don't want to be in the office at all, bearing in mind that it's not a happy space for me. So from a technical viewpoint, I studied aviation, did fairly well. I had to get through all the books that I had to get through, which was a nightmare for me, which I'll never do again. And pretty much from there, the most passionate thing that I could relate myself to do was obviously in the art industry, because it makes such a massive difference.
Establishing his studio 8 years ago, today Marco's daughter, Lisa Olivia, also an artist, steers the operation.
You're at the foundry and this is where it all happens. All the processes happen here, and I also sculpt from here. So all the work done for the individual clients will either happen from the design center at the office, or it will happen at the logistics side of it, or from the technical side from the factory. You predominantly get two types of artists. One that will build an armature, which has a wire frame or a steel frame, and they will build up from there. Or you will get the type that I enjoy doing, carving from a block, whether it be wood, granite, or glass, or even polystyrene, which I use very often, from outside in. So there's effectively an art piece stuck in a block, which you will then trim to that size. So obviously, if I'm going to make a piece 2 meters by 2 meters, I will have a block that size. I will then cut the waste material away and then start shaping and carving and putting texture on it. And there are many different tools that we will use, and it's actually a very long process. After we've made the master, we will make a mold of it, which then captures the detail. After that, we will put a fiberglass jacket over it to bring rigidity to the actual mold. Then the art piece will be removed from the mold and it will have flanges all around. And after that, it will get bolted together. We then now have a choice to make a resin copy, or we will go the wax option that will then be dipped in ceramics, and which is then effectively the lost wax process. Bronze is timeless, it's forever. So if I, as an artist, had the option to work in bronze all the time, I would. But it's a costly exercise, and I think it's becoming a scarce commodity for the future, so bronze's prices will escalate quite heavily in the future. But I mean, if you look at a resin piece and a bronze piece, you literally wouldn't even know the difference. It's physically only when you touch the item that you'll actually see what it's made of.
Into these forms goes so much of the technical precision engineering he trained in, and yet the effect is overwhelmingly an emotional one.
Most of the art I do can reach out to all different types of people, and it makes them feel good. Generally, when somebody walks past my art, it gives them a happy feeling. I'm very happy to say that the demand is good. We have a very good strike rate with clients because we go the full measure. It's partly that we don't only manufacture, we have a design center. So you come to me, you tell me what you're looking for, and we're going to throw the ball around until we eventually find you. Then we will make a computerized version of it. From there, if the client needs, we will do a 3D print on a small version and then only start commissioning the big piece.
With the boom in demand, creative time has become that much more precious. So choosing the right business support team was essential.
We needed a partner that is able to keep up, and we looked around and it looked like Capitec was a good option. It's not something I've done before, is open a remote account. I went on to my Play Store, clicked on the app, downloaded relatively fast, and all the options it asked was quite easy, basic questions. So I went through all the questions, and when I looked again, voila, it was done. The app's very easy to use, service charges are very good, and there was a lot of other benefits, and then we obviously decided to go that option.
Capitec Connect is the game changer. It offers you data that does not expire at a flat rate of 45 Rand per gig. A big plus is being able to walk into any of your nearest branches to get your SIM. Be connected anywhere, all the time.
Capitec gave me the option to do Capitec Connect, and I like the option that I'd never need to load airtime. They're going to do it automatically for me. So I set a preference, and basically when the airtime's done, they will automatically, with the preference I've given them, reload.
The future of Marco's sculpture looks assured with a 4-year commission from a famous mall in Somerset West. Mel Jeffries witnesses its impact every day.
The public's reaction has been overwhelming. It's been well received. It has literally transformed an empty court into an art gallery. You want to sit here, you want to walk past it, you want to pause, you want to take and capture this moment. It's just been overwhelming for us. We couldn't have asked for a better partnership.
The hand outside that was at the entrance is my own hand. I obviously took the dimensions from it and upsized it. The warriors behind me, we wanted to do some motion, and that's very difficult when you're sculpting, to get the feeling that these art pieces are moving. And you know, when the light falls on them from different angles, we wanted to make it also playful. So it displays this mystical view, and they're larger than life size, which obviously can be intimidating as well.
In this commercial side of town, James Cresswell saw how an Olivia figure could bring an irresistibly human touch to high-rise concrete, glass and steel.
We actually saw Marco's work. It was being displayed in a shopping centre, and it kind of caught our attention. It was a much smaller piece, and then went out to his workshop, saw what he was doing, and really liked it. We did go through numerous iterations of what we were going to put here. But after about 2 or 3 months of going through various sculptures, we decided on this particular one, which is the surrender statue, which we think really matches the building and enhances the area. You kind of see people here taking photographs with it, selfies with it, and I think that's the intention, is just to make sure that it helps improve the foreshore, and that's what it's doing, and you can see that with the public reaction.
The beautiful thing about art is the value lies in the eye of the beholder. So different people will interpret it different ways. But to me, as an artist, art brings people together. Art's a very powerful medium, and I'm learning every day as I go as well. So I'm very grateful, obviously, that I was approached by this company and asked to make this art piece.
Marco Olivia followed his passion through fields he could have made a living from, but in which he would not have been fulfilled. Tell us your plan to escape the obvious choice to live better through your talents and stand a chance of winning 1,000 Rand. Simply reply to the competition post on the Insider SA social media platforms using hashtag CapitecConnect, hashtag CapitecLiveBetter. T's and C's apply and can be found on the Insider SA website.
Another feel-good production.